Meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I was just nervous because you
This is the best part of being mayor. I have a couple of resolutions I would like to read tonight. Whereas the intention of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Rouses Point to honor former Mayor Thomas D. Batha, and whereas he willingly gave countless hours to many phases of the village operation during his 4 years as mayor, and as whereas the year 1994 through 1998 saw many improvements and advances in the villages, such as upgrading of the civic center, including an installation of a concrete floor, thus making a useful building for the entire year, beautiful playground equipment, and upgrading of ball fields also added to the civic center park. New sewer lines were installed in several streets. Services were extended to major residential developments, and and many areas in the village enjoyed the installation of underground electric service, which proved to be its worth during the ice storm of 1998. Plans were formulated for flood control and zebra mussel control programs. Miles of street paving and installation of new sidewalks occurred during his administration. And whereas, the 4 years of Thomas Batha's tenure saw rehabilitation of a fire truck and purchase of a new ambulance. Police department also received new patrol cars. Public Works Department enjoyed several new pieces of equipment and vehicles. New entrance signs were purchased and installed at the main entrances of the village, and contract for installation of central air conditioning in the village office was completed, as well as contract between the village and the CSA. And whereas Thomas Batha was instrumental in creation and dedication of Veterans Memorial Park and the dedication of the Peg Huckrow gazebo, and whereas the history will remember Thomas D. Batha as being mayor during the natural disaster called the ice storm. Who wants to be remembered by that? A time when the village administration, employees, and residents worked together to assist each other to recover within a reasonable short period. Therefore, be resolved, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Rouses Point recognize and salute Thomas D. Batha for his service to the residents of the village and convey its gratitude and commitments. This resolution will take effect immediately. The question was forthgone, duly put to a roll call vote, which the results was everybody voting aye. Tom? Thanks very much for your time, your efforts. I'm sure we earnestly appreciate it.
Thank you. I wish you the best of luck, all of you on the board, and George, I hope this works out as well for you as it did for me.
Well, it has its moments, Tom.
It goes up and down, but just keep them mostly up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Second resolution I have, Mr. Baker's not here, whereas it is the intention of the Village Board of Trustees of the Village of Rouses Point to honor former trustee Richard A. Baker, and whereas his 2 years as village trustee, he served as commissioner of the fire department and participated in the preparation and ordering of a new ambulance, which is about to arrive, and whereas several, boy, throat's getting dry, whereas he has served as commissioner of the electrical department and actively assisted in the installation of underground electric service in several areas of the village, regularly attending the NEUA and NYMPA meetings, and representing the village's interest in the PLM program, which resulted in funding to many local buildings for installation of energy-saving lighting. And whereas the commissioner of water plant, he gave countless hours of working on zebra mussel control program, the installation of changeover to sodium hypochlorite. He also assisted in plans to secure funding for the water plant upgrade, and whereas Richard Baker spent countless hours participating in union negotiations which resulted in a signed contract between the village and the CSA, whereas he gave unselfish willingness to assist whenever possible during the ice storm in 1998. Therefore, be it resolved, the members of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Rouses Point recognizes and salutes Richard A. Baker for his services to the residents of the Village of Rouses Point and extends their sincere appreciation for his commitment. This resolution should take effect immediately. The question of the foregoing was duly put to roll call vote, which result in following everybody voting aye. Richard's not here. We'll see that he gets that. No public hearings. Comments from the public.
George Long in 3 Lakeview. We had the brush crew at work in our house this morning. I called on Friday, and they were there promptly this morning, did a very thorough job, and left before I could thank them. But they really did an outstanding job. It's all the leftover from the storm. Thank you.
Appreciate good comments like that. Thank you. Anybody else wish to address the board? You'll have another chance at the end of the meeting. Minutes of the previous meeting and regular meeting. You all have copies. Are there any comments?
Move that the minutes be accepted as presented.
Second. Motion's made and seconded. Any comments? Discussion? If not, vote by the usual sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Bills. Do we have any additions or deletions, RSM?
Yes. I had the same problem you have tonight. We had one bill for fire training school for two firefighters going.
Yes.
It's in the amount of $36. It's payable to William Masler. And the other, pardon?
That will be added.
That's what, yes. And the other bill is a lot larger. It's 2 bills in one. It's the Zebra Tech. Total amount due for intake line video is $5,422.96, and total amount due for wastewater outfall repair is $2,694.
Any comments about the bills? The outfall line is completely repaired now. And the intake line has been totally videoed. Well, you've heard the additions. Entertain a motion. Second. Motion made and second. Any discussion? All those vote by the usual sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Carried. Correspondence.
The first piece of correspondence you have is written to the village board. It is from Danielle Andres, who is a resident on Columbus Drive. I won't read this word for word, but I will read most of it because this addresses several concerns. Ms. Andres says, I'm a resident of Rouses Point. My family and I recently purchased a home. The home we have bought is located on Columbus Drive. I am under the impression that this road was annexed into the village not long ago. I will be paying Rouses Point taxes and am receiving Rouses Point water and sewer. Now this is what troubles me. I will be paying New York State Electric and Gas and not Rouses Point Electric. The reason that upsets me may be very well apparent to all. The prices of NYSEG are crippling. But that is not where the reasons stop. I am under the impression that NYSEG wants $100,000 for Columbus Drive, which is quite an amount, but an amount that will pay for itself in the future. So that leaves me with the question, why would Rouses Point not want to do this for the residents? There is another part to this problem of understanding the village point of view. There is soon to be a button factory opening on the golf course road outside the range of Rouses Point Electric. It is going to cost somewhere in the area of $75,000 to run village electric to this factory, with a probability of $0 returning to the village. Yet the village has given this a seal of approval. I just do not understand. One of my first reactions was to get signatures from everyone who lives in Columbus. However, much to my horror, I found out this has already been done and has not changed the minds of the village board. So my next thought was to try and understand why. This letter is written in the hopes of opening the eyes of the village board to how important the residents really are, The people who live on Columbus Drive are important, and we are residents of Rouses Point. We contribute to the village in some way or another, just as everyone else, if not through the ongoing support we show for our village, then through the taxes we pay.
Anybody want to comment on it?
Yes, I will. I wrote a response to Danielle's letter, to the best of my knowledge. Dear Danielle and village residents without village electric, which is not only Columbus Drive, but it is also Ashwood, Champlain Street, and part of Carrier Apartments. I wish there was a simple answer to your letter and to your problem. At this time, NYSEG is not willing to release the customers to the village. This is not a new problem, but one that has been going on for years. After researching this matter, I found at one point in January of 1995, NYSEG was willing to sell us these customers, but then in June of 1995, they rescinded this offer before anything could be done. As the village pursued this matter, trying to get NYSEG to sell these customers to them, they were stopped in their tracks. NYSEG stated that with the notice of proposed rulemaking issued by Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, NYSEG is not prepared to transfer the existing customers to the village of Rouses Point at this time. This is from a letter dated June 27, 1995, from Tom Maglianotti, Manager of Engineering for NYSEG, to Stephen Dworsky, Village Administrator at the time. Since then, to my knowledge, nothing has been done concerning this matter. The village has waited for the deregulation to take effect. You are not forgotten in these areas. When the deregulation for residential customer goes into effect, I'm sure that the village board will accept these residents into the village electric. As of Thursday, when I was at a New York Municipal Power Authority meeting, I asked about the deregulation for residential customers. The only answer I got was that lawyers are still trying to work out the municipal status, and after all is clear in this aspect, they will go on to pursue the residential aspect of the matter. I hope that this explanation will help you and the rest of your residents without village power to try to understand that there is no simple solution to your problem other than to wait for the deregulation to take effect.
Bobby should add in there too, Dale, is that the Champlain Plastics is not outside our franchise district. It's in our franchise
No, it is
district.
not.
We are compelled to supply them with power.
I didn't feel that. I didn't comment on it because I didn't feel that one had anything to do with the other. Because there is no set price on getting these customers.
No.
If there was, then that would be an issue. I agree.
Anybody else got any comments about the letter? I think it's well done. I think it's very good. Well done. Well, thank you, sir, for that. Next piece of correspondence.
Next piece of correspondence you have is written to the mayor and trustees. It's from Angelo Abruzzi. Earlier this year, I contacted the village about the damage done to my driveway due to the washing out of the storm drain that runs under my driveway. The village promptly sent a crew to do an emergency patch to solve the problem temporarily. I'd like to know when the final work on this pipe running under my driveway will be fixed. Also, there is a pine tree that sits on the village property, according to a survey I have done, that needs to be removed. The tree is on Mr. Bayshard's side of my hedge, and it causes considerable damage to my hedge during the ice storm. The tree renders Mr. Bayshard's driveway unusable for parking his vehicles, and he also would like it removed. Can you advise as to the possibility of having this tree removed before the sap starts dropping from the numerous broken limbs, creating a messy condition for both of us? I think you're aware that Bob Clark went up and checked that.
The tree is out, it belongs to Mr. Bayshore, period. It's outside the village right away. By 5 to 10 feet.
And the driveway we will take care of,
Yeah, the driveway.
hopefully this week.
Next piece of correspondence.
The next piece of correspondence you have is from the Straw Hatters. The Straw Hatters Marching and Concert Band has developed their 1998 summer season schedule. It is including 2 concerts sponsored by the Village of Rouses Point. Please note that this is a change from the past. The first concert will be in conjunction with the 4th of July celebration. The date will be July 3rd at the Field House. The second concert is scheduled for 7 p.m. on Wednesday, August 5th at Cedar Hedge Nursing Home. You'll note that we have moved the nursing home concert to August and have eliminated the concert in the park. In addition, the band plans to perform in the 4th of July parade. I have sent a copy of this to Cedar Hedge and a copy to Mike O'Brien, and I've also sent the dates to the Press Republican.
Next is correspondence, please.
It's from Margaret McPost, American Legion, Rouses Point, New York. Dear Mayor Rivers and trustees, this letter is to inform you of the intentions of Margaret McPost 912 American Legion, according to our Veterans Organization Charter, to sell poppies in commemoration of Memorial Day. The sales will be held from May 9th to Memorial Day at local establishments to benefit veterans programs. Sincerely, Harry W. Landry, Commander. Next piece of correspondence is from Northeastern Clinton Central School, addressed to the Mayor and Board of Trustees. Recently, NCCS was searching for a baseball field for our junior varsity team to play on. We had only one field at the high school, which can be considered a quality field. I approached Mike O'Brien about playing on the field behind your Civic Center. Mike stated he would speak to the village board on our behalf. I want to thank you and the entire village board for allowing us to play there on such short notice, and compliment Mike and his crew at the Civic Center for the excellent job they did in helping us put in a quality baseball field for our kids to use. Our tennis, baseball, and hockey athletes are very fortunate to have excellent facilities available in Rouses Point. Signed, Richard Frisbee, Director of Athletics. Next piece of correspondence is from Montgomery Hose, Hook, and Ladder. We wish to inform you of 2 new members who were approved to our company for a probationary period of 6 months. Brian Hicks, 47 Pratt Street, Gerald Robert Jr., 25 Smith Street. Please act on these members as soon as possible.
Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second. Heard the motion made and second. Any discussion? If not, vote by the usual sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I also just received this letter from Montgomery Hose, Hook, and Ladder to the Mayor and Village Trustees. Please be advised that at our last regular business meeting on May 11th, 1998, Robert Itzier was elected chief for a 1-year term. We hope this meets your approval.
Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second. Heard the motion made and second. Any discussion? If not, vote by usual sign.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thanks, Robert.
We also received a very nice thank you letter from Community Link, thanking the board, the Civic Center, and everybody else involved for letting them use this area for their health fair. I think this was a very, very valuable thing that the board did. Also today, the entire board received an invitation to attend an annual open house on Saturday, May 30th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. This is in Plattsburgh at LTS Homes. They said this will assist all of you in making planning and zoning decisions. I will talk to you about this after an RSVP on your behalf if you wish me to. And that's the extent of the correspondence.
Reports from Mayor and Trustee. I have one thing on the agenda tonight, and only one thing. Thanks, Tom. I need a representative from Rouses Point Village Board to represent us on the Town Fire Commission, which is being formed. I'm asking for a volunteer, and if nobody volunteers, then I appoint.
How often does it meet?
I have no idea, Elaine. It's all I know is that the supervisor of the town came to me and asked me if we would have a representative on this fire commission. What it is, apparently it's a commission to look into the aspect of forming a fire district. And any way you look at it, whether we take part in it or not, we're involved in it.
depending on how often they meet or what time of the day or night.
I would
be-
assume, and I say this assume that it would be evenings. Just because of the town board. I think they're getting a representative from the village board in Champlain, which is Albert Laporte, and some people outside the town, outside the two villages. I think that we should have somebody there, just to find out what's going on.
I wouldn't want to usurp anybody else's privilege to be there, but as I said, depending on time of day and night of the week.
All right, young lady, you're it. See how easy that was? Raise your hand. Okay, that's all I have. Trustee Moore.
Okay. I have a report from the Public Works and Public Works. They swept streets, cleaned up the brush pile, cleaned behind the Public Works garage, did vehicle repairs, serviced equipment, repaired water line, located sewer line on Priscilla Lane, removed brick wall at entrance of Pineview, installed storm drain manhole on Maple Street, installed new signs at Carrier Way, installed new sign pole on the corner of Priscilla and Academy. On the electrical department, commenced installing electrical underground at Civic Center, tightened guide wires, straightened poles, service street lighting, and put flower pots on the street light poles. Installed the air conditioner at the library, installed the air conditioners upstairs in the village office. I'd like to announce that I will be attending the library board meeting tomorrow evening at 7:15, and I'll make a report at the next meeting what the results are. We also have a historical marker for the General Thurman Inn has arrived. It reads 1880 Truber home. President Monroe stayed here, later used the Underground Railroad in 1860. I have the reports for the quarterly report for the cases held in the police department. 189 total number of complaints, 15 total number of arrests, 141 total number of traffic tickets, 3 total number of parking tickets, and 1 total number of training courses attended. Now I was thinking there's a lot of things here with crimes that's being done in here. I could read them all off, but I don't want to there, but I think on the monthly reports hereafter I'll let you know what's going on. I'm being brief tonight and tell you this is for the month of April. We had 52 total number of complaints, 4 total number of arrests, 50 total number of traffic tickets, 1 total number of parking tickets, and 1 training course attended. But as I said, in the future, I'm going to read off because we're surprised the rest is what things are going on in this little village. I give you a big report of how many complaints, but I'm going to read it here after, and I'll let you know. These gentlemen over there at our police department are working hard. And I guess that is all I have.
Thank you, Trustee Moore. Trustee Dupra?
First item on the agenda is the bi-monthly water plant work report that I've received, and I believe everybody else receives a copy of it. Just keeping us advised of the ongoing repair and maintenance work that is being conducted in the water plant, and I do appreciate receiving that on a regular basis. If there are any questions, please feel free to ask, and I'll try and get an answer for you. Second item on my agenda, the water intake line video was completed last week, and I have a report on that, as I believe everyone else should too. Some of the highlights from the report indicated that the pipe that was viewed was in very good condition. Most of the heavy bio growth that was observed was in the first 300 to 500 linear feet. In the length of the pipe with thick bio growth, there was actually a minimal zebra infestation since the muffles cannot be seen above the bio growth. For the balance of the pipe, that has a thin biofilm, there was very, very low density with no layering. Based on these observations, it was recommended that the first priority be to get the screens installed to prevent adult translocators from entering the pipe, and that's the zebra mussels, of course. And the suggestion was that we wait until September, October, when the lake is much lower, to do this work so that it can be done on shore at a much more efficient and less costly basis. The report is submitted by our Alan Lewis professional engineer. Any questions?
I have none.
I think it's an excellent report, and I am very pleased with it.
The whole process went very, very smoothly. Once we found out that we could get by those valves.
Right. And is there a copy of this video if somebody wants to view it? Is that my
Yes.
impression?
Yes.
Okay.
What they do feel, what happened though, when last fall when we tried to do it, and we ran into
Butterfly valves.
some butterfly valves, and we had to, they used a fire pumper to blow back the line. They feel that that blew out a lot of the zebra mussels. Because I guess they pumped for 2 or 3 hours out through that line.
I believe Doug Ferris and Gary Malinsky have agreed to go to school and do a presentation for the 6th graders regarding this, and possibly use the video.
Oh, that's a good
It's a
idea.
project that 6th grade teacher is doing, and this will add to it.
Next item on the agenda is a short discussion regarding the hiring of summer help. The clerk and I have had several discussions in the past, as well as some of the discussions that we've had at the board here. Some of our concerns and priorities I would like to list for you. First of all, we hire usually 3 or 4, and I think last year we actually hired 5 or 6 temporary employees to work a 40-hour week, no benefits, $6 an hour, basically as summer help to give us the additional labor that we need to complete the many projects that we have planned for the good summer weather. In the past, there have been a variety of situations that have occurred that have made this practice less than efficient. Sometimes we get late in hiring the people. We have the money available the 1st of June when the budget becomes authorized. And if we don't have the people on board the 1st of June, then we lose a couple of valuable weeks as far as summer projects are concerned. In the past, we have had varying results with our hiring practices. Maybe the blame isn't going to be placed in any particular place. In any case, the clerk and I did some investigating on our own, and we found that the village of Champlain, for instance, uses a private personnel firm to do their hiring, interviewing, etc. We discussed this further with Bob Sullivan from the village of Champlain, and then we spoke with Gary Wagner from Western Staff Services. The situation that we are going to practice this year involves using the services of Western Staff Services to interview and hire our summer help at a cost that will be somewhat different but equal to what we have been experiencing in the past. There are advantages to this in that we can have a larger pool of employees from which to select, or applicants from which to select, and hopefully get a better quality of employee than we have had sometimes in the past. Some of the employees that we have had have been very good. Some of the employees that we have had have not worked out very well at all. And this is what we are trying to avoid. If if someone is sent to us from Western staff, and they don't work out the first day, they don't come back the second day, and we get somebody substituted immediately. In the past, we had to review applications, we had to sometimes even wait for another board meeting before we could make the appointments. It was a matter, it's really a matter of time and being efficient. The clerk and I made this decision. I as head of the personnel committee, and the clerk is the head of everything else. Along with Bob Clark, who is Superintendent of Public Works. Hopefully this will work out. I guess the only other information that I would like to relay to the board and certainly to the public is that if you're interested and available to work 40 hours a week, $6 an hour, no benefits, for the Village of Rouses Point for approximately the summer months, that you are more than welcome to put an application in with Western Staff Services. They're located at West Bay Plaza in Plattsburgh. I don't know the telephone number offhand. 566-0610. It's in the telephone book. We will try this procedure for this year. Hopefully it will work as well for us as it has for the Village of Champlain. If it doesn't work, we will try something else the next time. Any comments or questions from any other members of the board?
Actually, I think it's a great idea because now we can actually hire June 1,
Yes, we can.
where we were hiring high school students. We had to wait till the end of June. And the applications came in. Other thing we found out, hiring high school students limits what they can do. They can't run any machinery that they can get injured on. Hopefully this, we'll get a better quality person.
And certainly, any and all village residents are
Well, certainly.
entitled to apply. We're not, we haven't limited it to village residents in the past. We've had a number of quality employees from outside the village. We do prefer to hire village residents if they are available, but sometimes you just don't have the pool from which to select.
It's true.
Any other comments? And certainly, if this works out well, we will report that. If it doesn't work out well, we probably won't tell you. Because you'll find out all by yourself.
Probably before we know it.
Probably.
Elaine, you might want to mention too, like the insurance and stuff like that, all taken care of by that.
Yes, the employee then will become the employee will become an employee of Western Staff Services, and they will cover all the insurance, FICA, disability, unemployment, et cetera, et cetera. The cost to the village, I don't know the exact cost, but in computing it out, the additional cost that it requires for us to use this service is probably less than it costs us to pay for unemployment insurance, disability, FICA, et cetera. As Treasurer Letourneau commented that I should report this factor, he calculated it out for us so that we know that it's within our budget and that it is financially a good thing for us to do. Anything else, Arsene?
No.
Okay, thank you for reminding me of that. I guess we actually had two priorities here. One was the financial capabilities that we had, and also we wanted good quality of employees so that we can get as much work done as possibly we can, because we do have a lot of projects and works that we need to accomplish this summer. It's going to be a really big summer for us, and hopefully Mother Nature will cooperate. Next item on the agenda is cost of the scoreboard. I have a fax order confirmation received from Jim Scoreboard Services. An order confirmation for the hockey scoreboard. The invoice will be half the total cost of the board plus total shipping upon delivery. Balance will be invoiced on June 1st, 1999. The total cost is for the scoreboard is $5,500, shipping charges $286.60, and disposal of the old scoreboard equipment, there is no charge. I need authorization to have this confirmation signed so that the scoreboard can be shipped. I would like to motion for that authorization, and then upon second, if there's any discussion.
Elaine has made the motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Discussion. No discussion, all vote.
This has been approved in the budget. The scoreboard has been approved in the budget
Yes.
Half the price.
Half the price.
That's why it's being built.
twice.
I think there's a discrepancy of a couple $100 more, but that can be taken care of. We can take care of that in the 92,000 budget, or whatever. Or do we, is that $500 this time?
There's $2,500 budgeted in this year's budget.
Right.
And then we're paying half the scoreboard, that's $2,750, and $286 for
Okay.
shipping.
So we gotta come up with that $500.
Right.
Well,
Can we do that?
can we do that?
No, I'll have to talk to Mike, see if there's something we can cut out.
Someday, if we could,
Once again, before we even get started, we're increasing that deficit in the Civic Center.
if we, he'll have to eliminate something in his budget this year, and then try to pick it up next year for $500. Is there any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor of the motion signify by the use of sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
Now, who needs to sign this? Michael. Michael needs to sign it. And I believe that is all I have on the agenda this evening.
Trustee Menard, please.
First thing on the agenda is the New York Municipal Power Authority meeting. First of all, I would like to thank the village for sending us to the meeting. I felt that the meeting was very informative, and I met with a lot of influential people in the Power Authority. There's going to be a lot of changes in the electrical department in the coming months, and this meeting helped me to understand what to expect in the next few months. I also believe that the changes will be very beneficial to the village residents. It's going to be a new venture for us, and I feel that it should be very beneficial. It's concerning the deregulation and everything else that was to do with the electrical department. They've had a very good time, and it was very informative. The next item is the resolution. Whereas certain customers' accounts are deemed uncollectible by the village, and whereas it is advisable to write these accounts off our books. Therefore, it be resolved that the accounts list of accounts be written off effective May 31st, 1998. I think everybody has a copy. Roll call vote.
Did I get a second first?
I'll second.
You've heard the motion made and seconded. Any discussion on this?
I think the only discussion that's necessary is the same discussion that we have every year, and that is that these accounts are deemed uncollectible to a point, although we do still try to collect them. We don't completely write them off, but in order to close out the books for the fiscal year, there technically needs to be a motion to remove these accounts from the book. Is that sort of correct, Treasurer?
Yes, it is.
Anything you'd like to add to that?
Just basically to reiterate what you said, this is so we don't have to send the bills out every single month because they're either getting returned to us or they're just getting ignored. But if the people that are on this list want power again, they're going to have to pay. We've tried different procedures in the past, and we just try our best to try and collect on this. We've gone through collection agencies, and they have the same luck that we do. They skip out you in the middle of the night.
They cough in the middle of the night.
Some of them do.
It still burns me to no end. It really does. I cannot
You're not the
understand.
only one.
I'm sure.
There is one person on this list that's deceased, or two. I guess there's two of them.
Well, there's not much you can do about that unless you go after the estate. That
We try to do that too.
without success. And the last 2 years, when I've sat here and I've said the same comment, it just irks me to no end. Anyway, any other discussion? Roll call vote. Trustee Moore.
Aye.
Trustee Dubrow.
Aye.
Trustee Burke. Aye. Sorry, Trustee Menard.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye.
My next item is report to the trip to Boonville. Bobby Clark, Danny McCallum, and Kurt Wilson went to Boonville to look at the new meters, and they were very impressed with the metering. Kurt is going to look at these meters more thoroughly, and if he finds that the meters are worthwhile, then Bob suggested that we initiate a 5-year plan to change over the whole village in this 5-year span. The reason for the timely changeover is that the meters are more expensive, but they are also computerized and very efficient. Also, with the 5-year plan, if there's any upgrades in the metering or the computer technology, that is all free to the village. Basically, right now, Kurt is looking into it, but they were very impressed with the new meters. My next item is a resolution to move that PLM be authorized to look into rate restructuring for the village of Rouses Point. When we went down to the meeting last week, we discussed this with Mark Cordero, and he had said that he has done this before and it was not a big change. What we're looking at is for rate restructuring for new businesses that are coming into town so that it won't affect the residential customers. Because what they do is they take up such a load that it puts more of a burden on the residential customers. So we're looking into a plan to try to curb this.
To add to that, I was at the meeting, was that we are at our end of hydropower. We will then not get any more hydropower. We get so many megawatts of hydro. Don't ask me the exact figures. Everything over that, we are in incremental power. What is it? 11 months, 12 months, a year, something like that. I don't know. Pretty near a full year. And incremental power is a higher rate. So any new business coming in will be getting incremental power, not hydro. So we have to restructure our rates to what I want to use, reflect that incremental power. Now it is a hair more expensive than the hydro. When we entered into this NAPA program, we no longer will get Fitzpatrick nuclear power, which is at a tremendous high rate. We're all well aware of that. We will be buying our incremental power strictly from this outfit here, NAPA, which is a combination of all of us municipal electrics. And they are buying power into a pool it's so complex that you don't know where to turn the next corner. But when we discussed this with Mark and Darrell, he suggested that we should do this to our benefit, especially to our residential, because if we allow the the hydropower to go to industry, then the residential rates are going to go up, and with that we do not want to do. So I think it's necessary that we do this rate restructure. You making that form of motion, Dale?
Yes.
I will second that. I'll second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, signify by the use of sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, carried.
My next item is I also have another resolution to, I would like to authorize that Kurt Wilson look into the feasibility of a transmission line for the village of Rouses Point from Beatontown. As we all know, we've stated in the last, or the board meeting before, that we are paying right now $1 million in wheeling charges to New York State Electric and Gas, and I would like to authorize Kurt to look into the feasibility and the cost of a transmission line from here to Beatontown so that we can eliminate these costs. I think it would help us out. We've talked at the meeting and we're looking at probably a $5 or $6 million transmission line, but when you think of what we pay out each year, I think that the return would be very beneficial for the village.
Does that include the easements he's going to find out?
Yes, he's going to look into everything.
He has to
He's
look
going to do a
into
full
it.
study on it for us.
So there's several factors that's going to come into play here. One is the public service. What I forgot to mention, once we got out of the Power Authority's thumb, and that's as of May 1st, we're out of that Power Authority thumb. We're under the Public Service Commission now. That's where everything's going to have to go. Power Authority is not going to dictate to us like they did before. Only for hydropower, period. Well, that's the understanding I got. Once we get out, once we start this thing, the annual estimated cost to the village of Rouses Point for wheeling charges under the new structure is $992,000. That's not much of a savings. Is it $7,000 from a year? The Public Service Commission is going to have to approve this if it's feasible. A couple of things to look at. We're at the mercy of New York State Electric and Gas. Any way you look at it, we got 2.5 miles of line from our substation to Honeymore's Corners, and that's it. There is no secondary route in. You stop to think what I'm saying. The one line. Let's say something happens to that 2.5 mile line. We're at their mercy until they repair it. That's the whole village, everything. This, if we put this in, we keep that, it may have cost us a little bit to have Gas Electric maintain that line there. We now have a complete loop, so if something happens to one, we can fall back on the other and vice versa. That's one of the reasons we may have to approach the Public Service Commission on putting this line in. Of course, the other thing is when you look at $900,000 a year, that's a good reason. We have quite a discussion on this with the people out there. We're not sure we can do it, but
No.
we got to look at it. We really have to look at it.
Is there a cost estimate from Mr. Wilson as to how much it's going to cost us to have him look into it?
No, we haven't.
He's under, isn't he under retainer?
$155 an hour.
Pardon?
$155 an hour.
Yeah, that's some retainer. I think that it would behoove us to do it because if nothing else, it may just cause Gas and Electric to start renegotiating.
Yeah, definitely. They're definitely out of the price range right now.
Did we get a second to that motion?
No.
No.
Did we have a second,
I'll
please?
second it.
I'm sorry, we're having all kinds of discussion here without us. Is there any other discussion on it?
I don't know if it would be advisable to have an estimate from Mr. Wilson. Would you feel more comfortable with that, or do you think that we should just...
We can look into it. We can have him give us an estimate of what he thinks it would cost to. So I'm not sure how intense, or if he can pinpoint it down to a dollar amount. I mean, like I said, there's a lot to look into.
I would just be more comfortable with some figure.
Right.
I personally have no idea whether this would take him a week or 6 months. I would like something a little, somewheres in
More
between.
detail.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we can talk to him and,
We can call him in the morning.
Yeah.
I just don't want to prolong this.
Oh, I
it's,
agree with you.
I think that we're looking maybe 2 to 3 years before it'll even happen. With all the permits and everything else we have to go through, if it happens. Well, do we want to ask him for an estimation?
I would like some estimate.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
too.
just,
I think you should withdraw your motion then, and we'll,
okay, I'll withdraw the motion.
and we'll
And
get
we'll
an
look
estimate
into
for the next board meeting. All right.
I also have a resolution from the fire department. They are looking at hiring Barton and Lotus to do a study on the fire department, and they're going to provide services for the lump sum of $1,800. It says we will invoice our services upon delivery of reports. Reimbursement for additional services shall be based upon a time and expense basis or otherwise mutually agreed. This is in their budget from last year. It's something that they had done before. They had started on it, and then the paperwork got lost in the shuffle somehow. And now they're going through with the study, but this is in their fire department budget, so I move that we allow them to hire this company for their reports.
Second it?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Is there a dollar limit on that? Yeah.
What's that?
1,800.
Dollar limit?
$1,800.
Yeah, but is there a possibility of extra fees on top of that?
It didn't say. It says reimbursement for additional services shall be based upon a time and expense basis. What I'm reading through this is that they're going to do a study, and then if there's anything else that's asked of
If
them.
there's any additional
Right.
services that we need, they will let us know how much it will cost, and we will go from there.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, signify by using sign of aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion carried.
And my last item is an announcement that on May 30th, from 5 a.m. to 8 a.m., there will be a power outage so that the line crew can work on the, I think it's a transformer to it, or the
Putting lightning
Lightning
arresters on.
lightning arresters on. It will be, I guess, kind of a hit or miss thing. It's not going to be one certain area. It's going to be different areas all throughout the village. I think they wanted to do it this weekend, but I feel that to give everybody more notice that next weekend, which will be May 30th, from 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. will be a better time.
Is that also weather
Weather
permitting?
permitting.
Is that it, Trustee
And
Menard?
that's all I have.
Trustee Burke?
The first thing that I have, and I believe all the board members should have a copy of this, is from Tom Reed, indicating that the last load of old sludge went out on May 12th, and he's indicating that Waste Stream Management has now completed their contract with us. Also, he's announcing that the sodium hypochlorite system went online on May 13th. It's been a long time coming, and I'd like to thank Tom and Ernie Barcombe and everybody else who's worked hard on putting that system in for us. And the other thing that I have is a clarification at the last board meeting. Elaine, you asked in terms of the cost for clarifier parts. And when I indicated $7,000, that was just for the gear. And on talking with Tommy Reed, the actual cost should be $12,000 for the entire part, $7,000 for the gear, and then the extra money would be for the gear assembly. So I ask the board's approval and authorizing an extra amount for that purchase.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by the use of sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. I open the meeting to the public. There ain't any. How about the clerk?
The only thing I would like to tell everyone is that I did receive a call from Donna Delapiano. She's the lady that we've been working with to write the grant for our senior housing. I think you're all aware of the fact that Mr. Manor is very ill. He's the president. So I will have to contact everyone, and anyone who is watching television and hears this, it's on our senior committee. We will be having a meeting Wednesday, June 3rd at 6:30 here at the community room. And if anybody's interested in attending, by all means, you're welcome. But there is a new round of funding, and Ms. Delapiano is attending a meeting in Albany this week. She will find out if our last application needs some fine-tuning, and we will reapply. So that's all that I think that.
I know something we forgot. I got a correspondence from Meals on Wheels to make an announcement here. They are looking for drivers for the Meals on Wheels program for this area. They pay, I think it's 28 cents a mile, but it's only like a 15-mile run that they have to do. If anybody's interested, please get a hold of them. I don't have the paperwork in front of me to tell you what number to call, but it's the nutrition program that they have, and they bring meals to people that need some drivers for this area. So if anybody's interested in doing it, especially retired people, there's a person you contact, and I wished I had it in front of me, but I don't. I thought they would be in here, and I didn't bring it.
I don't recall having seen that correspondence, but if it's at the office, if anyone's interested, they could call us and we could relay whatever information is in that letter.
Thank you. Treasurer Letourneau.
I believe everybody received a copy of our latest attorney's bill for your review. If you have any questions, see that, because it looks like our name's on every page here.
I saw that. I read that bill over. I think the bill is in order. I don't think there's anything.
No, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
I don't believe we've been billed in 1998.
No, we
Yeah,
haven't.
the first bill in 1998, and all that work that was done. Chief Craig.
And
I'm sorry, you weren't finished. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You did that last time, too.
I thought you just wanted to make that one funny and let it go at that.
you will get your new budget sometime this week, too.
I was only teasing you.
Yes, you will.
Anything else?
No, that's all.
Chief Craig?
Are you sure?
Yes.
I just wanted to advise the board, if they weren't aware, to advise the residents that last week, Wednesday the 13th into Thursday the 14th, we had 3 burglaries committed in the village. We had 3 separate buildings that were entered, and I'd just like to ask for the assistance of the public and the residents that if you see something suspicious, if you see somebody cutting through your yard at odd hours or something that doesn't look right, please don't pass it off as just the neighbor taking a shortcut through your yard. Please call. Pick up the phone and call. I'd much rather have a patrol go and find that that's what it is than not get called and find we've got a burglary in the morning. And try to please take some precautions and make sure the residents are locked, cars are locked, maybe some additional lighting would be nice. And if you see anything, please don't hesitate to call. That's what we're here for. And anybody going on vacation, please take advantage of our security checks, where you can advise us that you're going away on vacation, and we will do a hands-on check of your residence while you're away. Thank you.
Thank you. Chief Nancy.
The only thing I have to say is, I'm hoping the ambulance will be here this week. Supposedly it should be here by Friday. So we should have a new ambulance in the village.
Anything else? Stanley? You gonna move we adjourn?
I will, yes, I will make a motion to adjourn.
I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? 1 hour and 1 minute.
Very good.
1 minute too long.